boy, a tractor's moving. It's been the first time I've seen that in about 3 weeks. So far, it's been extremely rainy and wet here in Northeast Missouri, so we really haven't gotten a lot done for the whole month of May. I think Grandpa there is gonna take a sprayer and he's gonna go spray some burn down. We might have a jam here at the fuel pump. Do a little unfolding action here for you. Yeah, that one needs replaced. Might as well replace that one and that one. There's a couple. I think Dad's got this under control. I'm gonna go to church and then I'm gonna go eat at Buffalo Wild Wings with my bros. It's finally starting to dry up just a little bit here in Marion County. We've had nothing but rain for the past 3 weeks, and it's kind of frustrating. Since I know everyone's dying to know how big the cats are, they're this big. This one's name is Talking Tom because he looks like that one cat from the kids game who's named Talking Tom. I think he wants off. Are you busy today?
I didn't get it.
Assemble the boys for the B-dubs trip. One of the number one rules of working ground is don't hit the risers. First riser I come to, of course I can't see it because Dad knocked it over with a planter a long time ago. So I ran over it. We're gonna hop out real quick and uncover it because that's a nice thing to do. It is somewhere over there-ish. And of course, I chose now of all times to wear my Birkenstocks, but you know, whatever. So I take it back. I actually didn't run it over, but I came very, very, very close. So it appears to have been cut off at ground level. Sometimes we will cut the risers off at ground level so that we can plant over them, but you have to be careful doing that because that makes it easy to run them over with tillage tools like the Salford. Oh boy, end-rows in the dark. I just started doing my first pass of end-rows here in the last field on this farm. This is actually the farm where we live at. It's kind of our home place, if you can call it that. Doing end-rows at night can be a little interesting, for sure. I'm folding up the Salford real quick, and then I'm gonna go inside and get some sleep because it's actually 2 a.m. right now, and I don't know what time I'm supposed to get up tomorrow, but it's probably not gonna be super early now since I've actually gotten ahead a little bit on what I was supposed to be doing. Now, this is something that you never want to see. That being a field of corn that you already planted that there's no corn in because none of it came up. There's a little bit of corn here, but not even enough to row it down the field. That's a replant. I just dropped Dad off down here at his planter. Dad worked up 90 acres last night to replant, and I worked up some ground last night too, as you saw. I'm gonna work up probably another 300 something acres today and get that, and tomorrow Dad will get all of that planted. Basically, we're gonna be replanting 1,500 acres of corn, which, yeah, that kind of sucks, but yay! Yeah, I am not a very big fan of diesel exhaust fluid, not at all. I just asked Dad if he wanted to say a couple words about our replanting efforts, to which he replied, no. Don't get to hear anything about replanting, which I don't blame the guy. Replanting is not very fun. Let's get a move on. Now we are unfolded. We are ready to go. Let's go tear out some really bad looking corn and get depressed because of it. We quite literally went from having almost all of our corn in to having half of it planted in a couple days because it just kept raining. And it got cold and the water stood everywhere. It was not pleasant. You know what? I don't want to call it track 6. I want to call it, here, let's be original. Your mom. Haha, that's funny. Tearing out corn that's already been planted like this is kind of discouraging, but one of the keys to raising a good crop of corn is having a stand, and you can't do that with 10,000 plants per acre. Not gonna happen. I got this part of this farm finished up, and now we're gonna fold her up and hop across the road over there and do the rest of it. Hey, at MoDOT, can you make Highway 168 better? Because it quite frankly sucks and is very dangerous, especially with large farm equipment like this. And if you could change that, that would be nice. Dad got all of my corn knocked out in about 4 minutes because he's got a 60-foot planter. When you have a 60-foot planter, you can get a lot done in a couple minutes. the stand was kind of thin and it just wasn't real consistent, so I just decided to tear the whole thing out and start over. Check out how loud this truck is. I had to take a little break from the field there for about 2 hours so that I could go home and get something to eat because Mom made salmon for supper. Now we're gonna go back and finish the place that we're at and get down the road to the next one. This is the 168 road that I was talking about earlier that really sucks. Like, there's nowhere to go here if you meet someone in a tractor. This field that we're in here is actually some fairly decent running. There's a couple terraces in it, but relatively speaking to some of the other ground that we have, this is, it's all right. You may notice that there's actually zero corn anywhere out here, despite the fact that this had already been planted once. That would be because we got 3 inches of rain and it turned cold and the corn died. It rotted, done, nothing. Dad just got here with the planter and he's putting the end rows on the first field that we worked. Hey, Dad, next time could you not park your tractor right there? That's kind of in the way. I'm just now getting folded up here at the end of the day. It is 11:22, so I got a pretty good day of work in despite not getting started until 11:30. Some of my sweeps back there got a little thin today, so I'll replace those tomorrow. The long day isn't over today. I've got another long day tomorrow because we've got a bike ride tomorrow at 7 a.m. and it's 11:22 right now, so that already puts me at 8 hours out, so I'll probably end up with around 6-ish hours of sleep and then bike 20 miles. That's gonna be fun. Oh man, this is the Stone Age. Don't tell nobody, but I may have cut like 3 miles off this bike trip. My grandma had cancer and she passed away, and this is her memorial ride, so I wasn't gonna skip this for anything. That was my ride for the past 20 miles. Now this is my ride for the rest of the day. Oh no, a roundabout. Oh no. Hey kids, look, there's Big Ben. I had to stop and fill up with DEF as well because this tank is getting kind of low. You know, we have to have diesel exhaust fluid, you know, to protect the environment. Dad is getting his seed and things loaded up for today. Hopefully we'll be able to plant another almost 300 acres today and get ahead on our replants, and maybe we can get back to planting first plant corn. But replant kind of sucks, it really does. But these replants were an easy call to make since there was seriously nothing there. Dodge. Welcome to the party. We're getting our Pivot Bio product put into the planter tank up there. This process is kind of time consuming. This is actually the first time I've watched Dad do the process. Oh no, I have J-Dog running the tractor. I hope he doesn't break it. I hope he doesn't hit me. Swagtastic. I wasn't aware of this, but last time I was on this farm, Dad said, "Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't stop and look at the cemetery that's there." I said, "The cemetery?" So apparently, in this group of trees, there actually used to be a cemetery. There's not much left of it anymore, but we try to be as respectful as we can. This person passed away in 1835, so it's been out here almost 200 years. That's pretty impressive. One back here that states that the person was born in 1796. So these headstones are incredibly old. They've been displaced by the trees and other people over the past 200 years, and there's nothing we can do about that. Oh boy, some action shots. For as much planting as we do, I hardly get any video of it. I'm gonna try and get some of this next farm work tonight so that I can do some mowing tomorrow morning. Last night, the cultivator lost a brand new sweep after I had just put it on. And I said, man, that's discouraging. It's really saddening. But then Dad calls me and says, "Hey, did you lose something?" I said, "Well, what are you talking about?" And then he sends me a picture of this. I'm like, oh, that looks familiar. It didn't even get all the paint worn off of it. I probably hit something with it and it worked its way off, and there it sat. Here's the kitty cat update. name reveal. This one is named Arthur. This one's also named Arthur because they look very similar. This one is Spot because she's got spots on her. This one's Talking Tom. And this one is Smella. Good kitty cat. Let's replace some sweeps in the dark. Yeah, man, that's great. Oh, now this is gonna be fun. That's how it's done. I'm done for the night and it just kind of started sprinkling. But the tractor needed a bath anyways, so we'll let it rain. Looked on the radar and this is just a little pop-up shower. It can't be more than a mile across. Oh, good night, I guess. And here we go again with another day of sort of showery weather and no actual sun. Dad intended to replant this piece, which was actually planted green, into clover as a cover crop, but got it planted, and then it rained a lot. And do you see any corn here? Okay, there's like 4 of them right there. And then there's nothing else in some places. So this presents a pretty unique challenge where you can't actually see the corn because of the clover and the plant matter. And it sprinkled off and on all night, so the ground here is actually too wet to plant. So now we have to go find something else to do. I wasn't far enough ahead working ground last night because I anticipated this no-till ground being good to go and then me having a couple hours to get ground worked versus 0 time. I just dropped Dad off at his tractor and he's gonna start planting this farm. Meanwhile, I get to finish doing it at the same time. One little request for my viewers: if you live in a state that starts with I, please don't complain about moisture, weather patterns, terraces, hills. Don't complain about any of it, because Northeast Missouri, I guarantee it is worse. Well, I say that as some guy from the Palouse out in Washington is probably watching and thinking, wow, that's flat. But yeah, I guess it's just a matter of perspective. This place that we're on today is rather hilly, and it's got lots of terraces, and we've already been here once. It was so much fun the first time, I decided I had to do it again. I love it when it works out that you don't actually have to go out of your way to go around a terrace riser. It's one of the highlights of my day. Another one? Must be my lucky day. I just started doing my intros on the last field here at this farm, and I'm gonna move down the road. Actually, I'm moving quite a ways down the road. I'm moving all the way from Nutrien by Palmyra all the way almost to Warren on Route C. That's a haul. Yeah, this body of water right behind me here may not look like it, but that is in fact a sinkhole. It's just a giant depression in the ground that holds water. Some of the sinkholes on this side of town don't hold water and we can farm through them, but that one, there's one right there and there's another one back further on that farm that are big and hold a lot of water. Since this riser right here isn't quite 50 feet away from the road, I am turning the section control on this field cultivator, which is code for folding the wings up. It's pretty smart. You know what? Let's mow the yard. I got that tractor moved to the next farm, and yeah, it's a little wet. Actually, a lot of wet. So, may as well do something productive. When I was down here mowing at the pond here recently, I noticed that we had some minor problems concerning like holes that I couldn't mow over. So I found a solution to that. That solution takes form in the shape of a John Deere 333E and a bucket full of dirt. And here's the hole that I couldn't mow over. What had happened was there was a tile up there that got eaten through by possums, and the water is running down over the tile and washing it away. All I'm doing here is kind of running along the top with my bucket down and scraping up some dirt to try and fill in this hole. You know what? This might be good enough. First gotta hop off and look. Let's see, am I gonna sink? Yeah, a little bit. I think my cat is broken. Oh yeah, you already know the vibes. More mowing. Cool, but are you driving a lawnmower down the highway cool? I don't think so. Dad needed me to bring him some water so he can fill up the pivot bio on his planter. And we're here gonna replant the whole thing of this ground that we looked at, I think it was yesterday. Dad says like 40% of this field looks really good, and for this kind of ground, that's really impressive. But there's just too many holes out here, so we're just gonna have to redo the whole thing. All right, that's mostly done. Now I can get to work. Oh, now this is fun. Tearing out about a third of the field and leaving the rest. That's going to be very, very fun to harvest. And by very, very fun, I mean very, very not fun. Dad seemed discouraged when I told him that Grandpa didn't want to replant the whole field and just wanted to do part of it. I decided I probably needed to get out of the tractor to stretch my legs a little bit and to find where to stop cultivating this corn, which is going to be right here, because this side is one pass of the planter and this side was the other pass. So this pass we're going to take out, and everything over here we're going to leave because this corn actually looks pretty darn good. I also need to check my sweeps to see if I need to replace any. And I mean, look at this view. I wish we had another 1,000 acres like this. Sweeps. I'm having to stay on this row right here to make sure that I get all the corn taken out on the right pass. Being able to make decisions like that in the field is what's called being an operator, not just being a driver or a steering wheel holder. I was getting ready to square up this end row, and I noticed that I had a shovel that broke. It's very odd how this one broke. I must have hit something incredibly hard. I found another sweep that needs to be replaced. It's right here by one of the wheels, and they wear kind of funny. If they're next to wheels or in front, they wear a lot faster. Next to wheels, they'll wear unevenly. Like one side will look like it skipped leg day, and the other side will be like, oh yeah, strong. I know that's a really bad metaphor, but that's the best that I can come up with. See what I mean? In this part of the field, I'm literally just tearing out the end rows because the end rows didn't look very good. The rest of the field, honestly, is pretty good considering what it went through. I'm right here, and this is 120 feet. This was the big field. That part's okay. That field was junk, but the rest of this field is gonna be just fine. I'm just about done with this piece here. There's actually 110 acres in this field, and we're leaving probably, I don't know, 30 of it. And there's 230 acres on this side of this farm, and we're only gonna be replanting 130 of it because some of this corn's actually okay, but it's gonna be very not fun to harvest because we're talking about corn that's planted early May versus corn that's planted in early June. There's a pretty big difference there. And the lighting right here is spot on. And we're done with end rows. I'm gonna get folded up and go over there to where my truck is, put some DEF and some fuel in this thing so I can be ready to go tomorrow morning. Dad is just getting ready to pull in over there. Fire it up, get going. That has to be the fastest that I've ran in recent memory. Well, this is another day that's going to be drawn to a close here. Thank you everyone for watching. I appreciate it. We're at 4,341 subscribers right now. Let's keep that number going up. Just thanks for watching the video, and I will catch you guys on the next one. My life be like, ooh, ah.